Jai Shri Ram. Very great. We are sincerely grateful to everyone who has come this evening for our annual celebration of Ram Navami, the appearance day of Lord Sri Ramchandra at our Sri Radha Gopinath temple. Can anyone hear me? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoviti tattvataha kyaktva deham punara janma naiti mameti sorjana. One who understands the transcendental nature of my appearance in this world and activities transcends forever the suffering of birth and death and comes to me. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati Bharata abhyutanamadat tadatmanam shijanya. This is a great mystery. In today's world, we find so much conflict, so much division. And within that division comes suspicion, insecurity, fear, hatred, violence, even in the name of God. The universal principle of all dharma or religion, savai pong sanparo dharmo yato bhaktiradokshate, is unmotivated, uninterrupted, loving service to the supreme truth, to God, to Lord Hari. And the symptom of such love, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmabhuta prasanatmana sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate bharo. When we actually attain this spiritual platform of consciousness, we become joyful. Not joyful due to external circumstances, but joyful from within in all circumstances. And even when there's pain, even when there's sorrow, which is natural, living in a world where everything is temporary, still, within that, there's the joy of the eternal nature of the soul. And then Krishna goes on to say, such a person does not crave for anything in this world and does not lament over that which is lost in the world. And then the next stage is very important. Such a person becomes a well-wishing friend for all living beings. Knowing Krishna, knowing God to be the ever well-wishing friend of all living beings. And when we actually live with these qualities, then according to Gita, we begin actual bhakti. Some people think that bhakti is just a very simple type of yoga for very simple people who can't do complicated asanas, or who cannot understand deep philosophical arguments. But actually, the highest philosophy and the essence of yoga begins when there is love for God. This is stated in Bible, both Old Testament and New Testament. The first and great commandment, which in the Bhagavatam's term means the essence of religion, is to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And to express that love by loving our neighbor as ourself. So why, according to this universal principle, which is at the heart of all true dharmas, why people hate each other in the name of a loving God? Why people are so arrogant when at the heart of every religion, the heart of all dharma, is to be humble, forgiving, and compassionate. Why people are so greedy when at the heart of all true dharma is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Everything is God's property. And whatever we're entrusted with is meant to serve God and share with one another. So this particular verse from the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita very much clarifies. It's a simple principle. But it's so much let us say, forgotten. That whenever and wherever there is a decline in religion, that supreme truth, the Father, the Mother of all living beings, Bhagavan, Ishvara, descends to reestablish these true principles. And if we understand this essence and we live with these principles, then Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarvalokamaheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shanti Mrchiti. Then we could actually be messengers of peace, messengers of Krishna's love. So Krishna is telling here that he descends in many forms, with many names, in many places. And in the Vedic literatures, we find so many avatars, so many historical events where the Lord descends. There's Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, there's Vamanadev, there's Parasuram, there's Ram, there's Krishna and Balaram. It describes Buddha as an avatar of the Supreme Lord in the Vedic literatures. And in the Puranas, in the Vedas, there are various types of avatars. But they are all coming ultimately for the one purpose of teaching us how to live our lives in such a way that we can actually be happy. Aham bija pratapita. Krishna tells, I'm the Supreme Father, I'm the Supreme Mother of all living beings. This is also a universal principle. Janmadya shayataha. That the absolute truth is the source of everything and everyone. Now any good, stable parent wants their children to be happy. Sometimes we teach them, sometimes we reward them, sometimes we have to punish them, but it's all for their happiness. Not just their temporary pleasures, but their overall future happiness in life. So, sarve sukhino bhavantu. Our Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, describes this as a principle of all knowledge. The Vedas are teaching us, let all beings be happy. But then the necessary question is, what is actual happiness? Because practically everyone in this world has a different conception of happiness. For some of us, it's happy when we sleep under a mosquito net. But for a mosquito, it's happy to drink your blood. So who's right and who's wrong? Among the mosquito community, you are wrong. Some people are happy in tamaguna, rajaguna, sattvaguna. Some are happy with intoxications. Some consider it miserable. Some are happy inflicting violence and pain on others. Others are happy healing others, uplifting others. Some are happy just accumulating. Some are happy sharing. So what is actual happiness? This is the essential teaching that all the scriptures are either immediately or gradually teaching us. How to uplift our consciousness, to understand that we're not this body, we're the eternal soul. The happiness of the body-mind, it's nice, but it's only really valuable, the happiness, if it's in harmony with the happiness of the soul. Yoga, bhakti, dharma, it's not to just deny the body and mind. It's to recognize and engage our thoughts, our words, and our actions in harmony with the nature of the soul. So to teach us these principles, there are so many religions in the world in different languages, with different rituals, in different books. But it's the one supreme absolute truth, the one supreme Lord, who is coming to teach us the same principle. Aham sarvasya prabhavam mata sarvam prabhavtate. Krishna tells, I'm the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my loving service and worship me with all their hearts. So that one supreme truth who we love and worship as Krishna, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, descends in many ways. And one of the most beloved and prominent of all such incarnations is Lord Ramchandra. And we are celebrating his appearance today. Lord Rama is a very unique and special avatar. He is called upon as Maryada Purushottam. He's appearing along with Sita, his eternal consort, his Ladini Shakti, his feminine aspect. He's coming in the role of a human being to teach you and me and all humanity for all time how to live both spiritually, socially, physically, on every level in an ideal way. He's teaching Dharma, values, character, and he's teaching bhakti, love. In the history of Lord Ram, especially Valmiki Ramayana, everything in Ram's life is an expression of the purest love and compassion. And his character and values are all harmonized with that essential love and compassion. With the few minutes that we have today, I'd like to just share, or let us say highlight, a few events in Ram's life that very much illustrates the lessons he teaches through the interactions he has with his devotees. It is a principle that the Supreme Lord not only incarnates to teach us, but through the hearts of those who love him, through the hearts of his devotees, and through the relationship that we see in the Lord and his devotees, that is where the greatest lessons of life can be learned, that are meant to be applied in our lives in various circumstances. So let's begin in Ayodhya. Ayodhya was such a glorious city. It was a kingdom. The government was so good under the great King Dasarath and his ministers. Such kings, Raja Rishis, they lived with the understanding that everything belongs to Lord Hari, and these are all Lord Hari's children, and the whole kingdom is entrusted. I'm just taking care of them in harmony with the loving, compassionate spirit of the Lord. And the laws, the taxes, everything is based on that principle. There's no greed. And therefore, the whole kingdom of Ayodhya was so prosperous. was totally clean. Can you imagine in India, everything being totally clean? Why was everything so clean? Because everyone in their hearts were so clean. If you clean the ecology of the heart, then naturally we live in harmony with the ecology around us. And everyone was so happy. Literally everyone had an abundance. And there was no competition. But still Dasaratha was unhappy. Why? Because he was thinking of future generations. In this world, everyone grows old. Everyone has to die. That's not a surprise. Sometimes it comes as a surprise, but it's inevitable. So although Dasaratha was loved, he was popular, he was powerful, he was wealthy, and everybody was happy with him and around him, still, according to the tradition of those days, a king needed to train a son to be his successor. And he had no son. So he was not unhappy for himself. He was unhappy for the kingdom and for the people. So he began to perform various type of sadhana, spiritual practice. And in those days, in the Treta Yuga, the recommended spiritual practice was yajna, performance of sacrificial ceremonies. So, fire sacrifice. And he was doing so much service and taking so much instructions for the sake of Dharma to holy people. And ultimately there was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony, especially for a child to be born, and how he worshipped the Lord, and how he worshipped the devatas to worship the Lord. And during this ceremony, he gave toward the end of it, he gave so much charity to the Brahmins, to the sadhus and the saints. And then there was the final offering. And from the sacred fire, a celestial divine personality rose into the sky. He was so effulgent. He descended to the earth. And Dasaratha Maharaj and everybody around were bowing down to him. And he had a golden pot with celestial amrita, or nectar. It was actually the prasad, the grace of the Lord. And he told Dasaratha, he said, you give this to your queens, and 4 sons will be born. Dasaratha circumambulated this personality, and then he went back into the fire. And then Dasaratha Maharaj went back to his palace, and his 3 principal queens, he gave one portion to Kausalya, one to Kaikeyi, and then they each gave a portion of theirs to Sumitra. So of these 3 queens, soon after, they all felt very powerful, incredible, merciful personalities within themselves. And it was on this day, Ram Navami, that the first and eldest son was born to Kausalya, Lord Ramchandra. The four brothers had such love for each other. Ram, Bharata, Lakshman, and Shatrugna. Their qualities, their character, their affection, and their wonderful activities from the time of their birth completely attracted the hearts of everyone. Because Ram is not just an ordinary baby. He's appearing like an ordinary baby. But he's the supreme mother and father of all living beings. The supremely loving, compassionate Lord of the universe in this little form. And he's going to spend his life teaching us how to live out of his kindness. The whole kingdom of Ayodhya was completely attracted by the qualities of Lord Ram. In fact, even when he was a little child crawling, they couldn't wait till he was their king. And Dasarath, and Kausalya, and Kaikeyi, and Sumitra, and Lakshman, and Bharata, and Shatrugna, and everyone else in the kingdom, they couldn't wait till Ram was king. There was not a competition, there was simply affection. When they were just young boys, the great sage Vishwamitra came to Ayodhya. And he requested Dasarath that in the forest that I'm living, there's great disturbance. We're being attacked by demoniac beings. I want your son, Ram, to come to help us. Dasarath said, I'll come myself. Ram is just a boy. Who is these dacoits, these demoniac beings, Rakshasas? He said they are associated with Ravana. As soon as Dasarath heard the name Ravana, he shook in fear. He understood all his armies could not defend themselves against Ravana's people. But Vishwamitra Muni, he said, I just want Ram, I don't want you or your army. No, Dasarath is not seeing Ram as God. He's not seeing him as an all-powerful personality. He's seeing him more or less just the way you would see your child. So he was very apprehensive. Vishwamitra said, you already promised me you would fulfill. When I came to the palace, you put me on your throne, you washed my feet, you gave me gifts, and then you offered, how can I serve you? And I told you, will you give me what I ask? And you said, of course. So I'm asking. This was the profound values of such a person at that time. When they give their word, they can never go back. Especially when we give our word to an enlightened person. So Vishwamitra brought Ram, and Lakshman wanted to be with Ram everywhere. He was the most loyal, beloved younger brother. And they rescued all the sages in the forest from those demoniac people. And then Vishwamitra brought him to Mithila. And there, it's very interesting. One of Ram's examples, he was not only such an obedient, wonderful, loving, cooperative son in every way, he was quite different than Krishna. They're the same person, but in different moods. Krishna would steal butter. And if he hid your butter, he would pass urine on your floor. You never hear of Ram doing things like that. If you showed him, I would ask, did you steal the butter? Krishna would say no. He would say a truth higher than a truth. There's relative truth, there's absolute truth. He would say truths in such a way that would increase Yashoda's love. He never told a lie in the sense that we know lies, where we're just afraid of being caught. He would appear to be afraid of being caught, just to increase the dynamics of the love that we share with Krishna. Krishna danced with gopis. Ram was very not like that. But in so many of the most important moments of Ram's life, he requested the blessings of enlightened persons. When they went to Mithila, Janak Maharaj told that we have Lord Shiva's bow. And for generations, this bow has been in my family. It's so big and it's so strong. Nobody could lift it. And some years ago, I was plowing a field for a yajna, a ceremony. And as I was plowing the field myself, a beautiful girl came out of Mother Earth. And she is my daughter, Sita. And from that time, so many great princes and kings have come here to marry her because she's so beautiful. And she has such divine, charming qualities. But I made a vow that only the person who could lift this bow and string it will marry my Sita. He said, the reason I made this vow, one, is I was told by great rishis that she's she's the feminine expansion of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu will come here to marry her. So I know nobody could lift this bow except Vishnu. It's Shiva's bow. And second reason, when Sita was just a little girl, I used to love to secretly watch what she was doing. And sometimes she would just pretend to be like the adults and she would clean things. So one day she was dusting the altar where the bow was on. And a little girl with tiny little soft hands, she lifted the bow, dusted under it, and then put it down effortlessly. And then I confirmed my vow. Nobody will marry her unless they could lift this. And he said, so many people were trying to come, so many princes and kings. And when they all failed, even Ravana came. They become so upset with me, they attacked me. They joined together to attack me with armies to kidnap Sita. And I had to fight with all my force for over a year with the help of the Devatas. But now I'm seeing this boy, Ram, he's telling Vishwamitra, it is my great prayer that he marry Sita. So Vishwamitra Muni brought Ram and Lakshman to the place where the bow was. And it's so beautiful. Ram is the Adi Guru. He's Jagat Guru. He's the Guru of the universe. But yet he's teaching us by his example how to be a disciple. When he was traveling for the forest with Vishwamitra, he was massaging his guru's feet and legs every evening, along with Lakshman, Balaram. He would bring water for him, to make little fires, to keep warm. He would go out and collect wood and bring it back. And there are so many beautiful descriptions of Ram and Lakshman in asking spiritual questions to Vishwamitra. The history of the Ganges, the history of great rishis. And there are so many beautiful stories of Vishwamitra instructing Ram and Lakshman. Vishwamitra knows that Ram is God. He's Bhagavan. But he's playing his role. For Ram to teach us how to be a disciple, Vishwamitra takes the role of being a guru for his ultimate guru. That is Ram's lesson. When Ram looked down at the bow, he asked for Vishwamitra's blessings before attempting to lift it. Now here, Ram and Sita are eternal consort. But yet Ram is asking Vishwamitra's blessings to show us, to show the world for all time, the value of receiving blessings from saintly people. And Sita was watching from a balcony with her friends, and she completely was in love with Ram. It's suspenseful. And everyone in Mithila who was assembled was watching, practically breathless, hoping and praying Ram would do it. And Ram just put his hands on that bow, one hand, and just held it for some time while everyone was watching in such intense anticipation. And then when Vishwamitra Muni gave the signal, Ram lifted the bow. Effortlessly, like an elephant with his trunk lifts a flower. He lifted it over his head, and everybody gasped. And then he took the string, and he had to bend the bow and put the string on one end, then he tied the string to the other end. He strung it. But then he did something extra. After he strung the bow, he put it straight up over his head and he pulled the string and he pulled it. The bow broke. And Sita her eyes were glistening with tears of love and happiness. And Janak Maharaj brought his daughter, and she had a beautiful golden garland of flowers, and she placed it around Ram's neck. And then the arrangements were made for Dasarath and the leaders of the Ayodhya community to come to Mithila, where Ram was to be married to Sita. And at that time it was proposed to Dasarath Maharaj that you have 3 other sons here. Sita has a sister, Urmila. She could marry Lakshman. And Janak's brother, Kushadvaj, he had 2 daughters. One was Mandavi. She could marry Bharata. And Shrutikirti could marry Satrugna. And Ram was very happy. And Dasarath was very happy. And Vishishta Muni came here. He was very happy. And Bharata and Mandavi and Satrugna and Shrutikirti and Lakshman and Urmila were very, very happy. So they all got married together. Then they returned to Ayodhya. They lived together in the service of the whole kingdom. And that day was awaiting. And this is such a beautiful story, but it's a tragic story. Dasarath was inspired and also instructed by the great saints around him of the auspicious time for the ceremony to coronate Ram as the Prince Regent, as the coming king. And all of you, I believe, most all of you know the story, and it's almost time to end, so the ceremony was going to be the next day, and everyone in Ayodhya was ecstatic. There was so many decorations, everything was so beautiful. But Manthara, She was the maidservant of Kaikeyi, the mother of Bharata. She was seeing all this, and she asked someone, why is there so much music and dancing and everything is being decorated? She was told, tomorrow Ram will be coronated. She became insecure. She became fearful. And by the higher powers, she became filled with envy. And somehow, even though Kaikeyi loved Ram just like her own child, Kaikeyi convinced her that she and her son will be discriminated against and suffer if Ram is coronated. And together they hatched a plan. It was Mantra's idea. Don't you remember long ago when Dasara was fighting in a battlefield and he was injured and you nursed him to health? He was so grateful to you. He offered you 2 benedictions and you said, at another time I will ask you. Now is the time. Now you demand your benedictions. 1, that your son Bharata is coronated as king. And 2, in order to secure your son's position, Ram be exiled to the forest to live in the bark of trees for 14 years. By that association, Kaikeyi's mind changed. It's quite symbolic. From a loving mother, she became suspicious, fearful, and hateful. And when Dasarath came to meet her, she made these demands, and he was devastated. He never really agreed to it, but he couldn't. When Ram came to take his father's blessings in the morning, he saw his father just laying there in a completely miserable state and said, "What's wrong, my father?" And Kaikeyi said, "He's not able to tell you because he loves you so much, he doesn't want to hurt you." But he promised me these 2 boons, and you, before I tell you what these boons are, you must promise me that you will not cause him to break his promise. Ram said, "Of course, I will always honor my father's promises." She said, "My son will be coronated, and you will be exiled to the forest. You will dress in the bark of trees and only eat the roots and berries, and for 14 years you will not enter any village, town, or city." When Dasarath heard her tell Ram this, he fell unconscious. And Ram, he said, "If that's what my father wants, of course I will." He had no attachment. He said, "My only pain is to see my father's pain. If I could protect his word of honor by going to forest for 14 years, I'm happy to do it." My father, please don't be pained. I will do it. He couldn't even speak. He couldn't even look at Ram. Ram came to the palace on the morning he was to be coronated, in beautiful robes, on a chariot, surrounded by people. And he walked outside and went to his mother's chambers. And she was fasting and stayed up all night doing beautiful ceremonies, celebrating to get blessings for her son. And upon seeing Ram, she couldn't understand, why are you coming to my room like this? Today is a beautiful, wonderful day. And he told her what happened. She fell unconscious. She cried. In every way she tried to convince Ram not to do it. When Ram was insistent, she tried to convince him, I will come with you. But Ram said, my beloved father needs you at his side. You must stay. When she saw that he was determined, his only unhappiness was her unhappiness. And she gave her heartfelt blessings. Go, my son, I'm proud of you. I wish all blessings to you. I wish all blessings for your good health, for your happiness, for your living by the values that you hold so sacred. Lakshman was furious. But Ram calmed him down. Then they went to meet Sita. And when Ram told Sita, she insisted, if that's what you're going to do, I'm coming with you. Ram said, how can you come? You're a princess. You were born in royalty. If you come with me, you'll be sleeping on the ground of the forest. All your beautiful robes will be left behind. You'll just be wearing tree bark. There's cold winters, hot summers, stormy rainy seasons, and so many wild animals. Lions, tigers, elephants, snakes, scorpions, mosquitoes, and many rakshasas, demoniac beings. You must stay home and take care of our parents. She insisted, I've given my heart to you. To be with you in the forest will be like the palace of Ayodhya. But without you in the palace of Ayodhya will be like the forest. My father has given my word, I will be with you through good times and hard times. You must allow me to perform my duties of love and keep the word of my father. You're keeping the word of your father. Let me keep the word of my father. Ram said, yes, you come. And Lakshman said, I'm coming too. And Ram said, you come too. So they had to leave that day. Kaikeyi, she had the tree bark clothing for Ram, Lakshmana, and Sita. And when they saw Sita trying to put it on, she was bewildered. Everyone was crying except Kaikeyi. And even Vashishta Muni became so upset. And there's a beautiful narration. They went to take leave of Dasarath. Kausalya come to the chariot to give her blessings, even though it was breaking her heart beyond comprehension. And after some time, the whole town of Ayodhya came with them. But then Ram, after they walked all day, he left in the middle of the night on the chariot with Sumandra, the charioteer, the minister of Dasarath, while everyone was sleeping. And he had him go through rivers and streams so nobody could trace the pathway of the wheels. And there's a beautiful interaction where they came near the bank of the Ganga in a very natural forest. And the tribal king of that area is named Guha. He heard that Ram was there. And Guha was actually a very good friend of Ram. Because Guha used to go to Ayodhya sometimes. By community or caste, he didn't have any. He was from a classification called Nishada, which was like a tribal outcast. That's what he was considered at the time. But Ram never considered a person's caste, a person's external qualifications. He only considered a person's character. And here is Guha. He's actually the king of this tribal area of the forest. And he had his army. And he had houses, and he had so much, everything, food. So when he heard Ram was there, he came running to see Ram. And he couldn't believe what he was saying. When he came before Ram, Ram was sitting under a banyan tree worshiping Mother Ganga, wearing tree bark. And it was there that Ram, with the sap of the trees, matted his hair with Lakshman. And Guha offered him incredible feast. Guha came with his ministers, with his assistants, and they brought wonderful, wonderful forest food. They brought beds. And Ram said that I have given my word to my father. In one sense, he gave his word to protect his father's promise that he gave to Kaikeyi. He said, I cannot eat any. He said, I cannot eat, just bring me a little water. But you could feed the horses of my chariot with this feast, because they're my father's horses. And they have not taken the vow to be living in the fields. So I will not sleep on the bed. Lakshman just put some leaves on the ground for Ram and Sita to lay in. And that night, Maharaj Guha said to Ram, I offer you everything in this kingdom. If you're banished for 14 years, you come and live in happiness, and myself and everyone will be here to serve you. But Ram refused. And that night, Lakshman while Ram and Sita slept on the leaves, Lakshman told him the same story. And when Guha wanted to make a bed for Lakshman, Lakshman said, I have vowed I will not sleep for 14 years. 24 hours a day I will guard Sita and Ram. Now this is a very instructive part of the story. Why didn't Bharat's wife Urmila come with him? Sita came with Ram because Ram was he's the supreme Lord everyone was serving. But Ram wants to serve his servants. Lakshman came to the forest so that he could give 24 hours of his complete attention to protecting Sita and Ram. And Urmila understood. She was feeling the same separation from her sister Sita, and Ram, the Lord of her life, and Lakshman, her beloved husband. She was in the same situation similar to Sita. But she could best serve by remaining in Ayodhya, taking care of the parents, and giving Lakshman the opportunity to give his complete attention. So this unity and diversity we've been discussing a lot. Sometimes the best way we could serve. Sometimes the principles of Dharma are different for different people. It's not just black and white. Urmila perfectly performed her dharma. And in many ways, she endured separation from Lakshman, Ram, and Sita for 14 years. Because that's the way she could best offer her love and serve. Yes, Maharaj Guha became one of the most celebrated, greatest historic devotees of Ram, where Ram showed the world that character and devotion, dharma, is above any external situation. The next morning they crossed the Ganga, and Ram came to Prayagraj, the confluence of the rivers Yamuna, Ganga, Saraswati. There, they met the great Bharadvaj Muni. He had an ashram there. And when he heard what happened, Ram asked, where is a quiet place where nobody will find us? A natural forest. And Bharadvaj said, I know the perfect place. just close by is a mountain named Kamagiri, Chitrakoot. And he gave pages of the Ramayana, is this great sage's description of the beauty of Chitrakoot. The important event of lifting the bow and marrying Sita was with the blessings of Vishwamitra. Ram went to live in Chitrakoot with Lakshman and Sita with the blessings of Bharadvaj. And interesting, later on, when Ram finally did liberate Ravana, how did he do it? With an arrow given by Agastya Muni, an arrow and a mantra. So these most prominent parts of his life were very much, the bow was with the blessings of Vishwamitra. The arrow was with the blessings of Agastya. And the most beautiful part of his life in Chitrakoot was with the blessings of Bharadvaj. So as they were living in this beautiful forest, on the banks of the Mandakini Ganga River, Ram and Sita and Lakshman were just living such simple lives. Sometimes Sita would tell Ram, "This is the happiest time of my whole life. Ayodhya was such a busy kingdom and city, and there was so much. And now we're exiled. That was very painful. But at the same time, we're just together here." And their favorite pastime was assisting the sages and the rishis and the yogis. They would collect flowers for them. They would collect water for them. They would just do menial services. And they were so happy. But meanwhile in Ayodhya, after Ram left, Ram loved his father so dearly that he was willing to protect the honor and the dignity of his father's promise. He was willing to leave everything. And Dasarath loved Ram so dearly that after Ram left, he couldn't live. Chanting Ram's name, he gave up his body. And now in Ayodhya, there's no king. So Vashishta is saying, Bharat with Satrughna were away at their uncle's house. So Vashishta sent a message to Bharat, "There's an emergency, please come back." But he didn't tell him what it was. So when Bharat came back, he entered Ayodhya and he saw everything was so depressing and everyone was so sad and so many inauspicious things. And when he found out what happened from his mother, he became so furious. "I will never allow your evil plot to be fulfilled. I will go to wherever Ram is, and I will offer him the kingdom. And I will remain in the forest for 14 years. This lesson of Bharat's relationship with Ram is very much at the heart of the Ramayana. Bharata was misunderstood by everyone. Ram was his life and soul. He just heard Ram's banished to the forest. Sita was the most worshipped goddess for him. She's banished to the forest. His loving brother and companion Lakshman. And at the same time, his father's dead from the agony of separation. It was horrible. He went to Ram's mother, Kausalya, and she said, "Congratulations, you're successful. Now you could rule the kingdom. You and your mother, your desire is fulfilled. But what about my Ram and Sita? What about your father who's dead?" Bharata was heartbroken, not only to see the suffering, but also that he was being so misunderstood. But as soon as he explained his heart, Kausalya immediately accepted. And Vibhishana Muni said the same thing. But then he understood. And Bharata, he planned for himself and the queens to go. Sumantra told where Ram was in Chitrakoot, to go there and convince Ram to return. So we're in Chitrakoot, and Ram and Sita and Lakshman are so just happily, they don't know what's going on in Ayodhya externally. They're just living such a peaceful life. And one day, they hear all these chariots, and they hear these elephants, and they hear these soldiers, and they hear thousands of people. So Lakshman climbs a tree, and he looks over, and he sees large crowds coming to Chitrakoot. This never happened. This is before there was yatras. Someday we should do this, actually. But they were all going, and Lakshman saw, he's telling Ram from the treetop, "I'm seeing all these people, and I'm seeing a chariot, and I'm seeing a flag on the chariot. It's Bharata's flag." Lakshman became as angry as fire. He said, "First Bharata has exiled you to the forest, and now he must be afraid that when you come back, you'll take the kingdom away, so he's coming with all his armies to kill you." Lakshman became like a cyclone of anger. He said, "On this day, I will kill Bharata, and I will destroy the whole army of Ayodhya if they try to harm you." And Ram, totally calm, he chastised Lakshman. He said, "Lakshman, Bharata loves me just like you love me. He had nothing to do with the exile. I know his heart. He's coming to offer me to come back and be the king." Lakshman became very humble. And then Bharata, Satrughna, they left everybody else behind, and he saw the little hut that Lakshman made for Ram. And he saw the bows of Lakshman and Ram leaning outside the hut. And he saw he came running and running, just Shatrugna and Bharata. And upon meeting Ram, they embraced. And if you go to Chitrakoot even today, in the stone where they met, as they embraced, the stones melted and their footprints are still there. And Shatrugna and Lakshman embraced. And Kaushalya was there, and she embraced Sita. And there was a wonderful conversation. Ram said, "Why you have come, but I don't see my father anywhere." Bharata told the story. Our father is no more. Ram cried. He informed Sita and Lakshman. They wept. They went to the Mandakini Ganga, where Ram performed the last rites for his father. The love that is shared even among the Lord and the devotees and the most enlightened people is actually the deepest revelation of affection. Someone may ask, if Krishna says in Gita we're not these bodies, Ram knows that, so why is he crying? Because the body is a medium by which we can exchange love. And the separation from that connection is not a material connection. There's crying in an enlightened state and in an unenlightened state. In an enlightened state, we understand the soul of a great soul person is in a very happy destination. The soul is eternal. Nahanyate hanyamane sarire, can never die. But the medium of the body that I reciprocated the love of the souls with is no longer. And in many ways that creates very, very deep. There may be tears of separation, but it's tears of love for the eternal soul in separation. It's not tears of just the loss of a life. After the offering of oblations on behalf of Dasarath Maharaj, Bharata told Ram his mission. Everyone here has assembled, all the citizens of Ayodhya. And actually even Kaikeyi came. Everyone is here to bring you back to Ayodhya to be the king. When Ram refused, he said, "Our father has given his word. I must protect that. That is my dharma." Bharata said, "Then transfer it to me. I will stay in the forest for 14 years. And you go back and make all of Ayodhya happy. Ram, his principles of Dharma were so unshakable. All the rishis, all the sages, along with Bharata, along with the citizens of Ayodhya, they were all trying to convince Ram to go back. And there's so many pages of Ramayana with all of the arguments and how Rama defeated every argument, just on the principle of his love for Dharma and his father's word. But the dynamics of this conversation are so rare and special. How many people in this world do you know who are literally fighting over who could give something to another? There's not many court cases where two brothers are arguing that my brother should have everything. But that's what they're arguing? Bharata is saying, I want to give you everything. I want to be in the forest like this. And Ram is saying, I will stay in the forest. You take everything and live in Ayodhya. And it wasn't just pretentious. They both deeply, deeply respected and loved each other and cared about each other. And ultimately, when Bharata saw that there was no way that Ram was going to compromise, he brought wooden sandals that were very nicely decorated. And he put them on the ground and told Ram, please, one time, put your lotus feet in these sandals. And if I have to go back to Ayodhya, I will put these sandals on the throne. And I will live in a forest outside, and I will rule the whole kingdom wearing tree bark for 14 years. And I'll do everything on your behalf in the form of these sandals. So Ram stepped in the sandals and Bharata brought them back. And he would come to Ayodhya to do his duties as king. But he lived in a hut just as simple as Ram's hut in Chitrakoot. And he matted his hair. And for the next 14 years, Bharata just ate the roots and the herbs that were on the ground. After some time, because they were discovered and because there were Rakshasa influences where the sages need help in the Dandakaranya forest, Ram, Sita, and Lakshman left Chitrakoot and came to Nasik, actually quite next door to Mumbai, Panchavati. And there, we have 5 minutes, so there, Ravana, the great king of the dynasty of Rakshasas, he disguised himself and kidnapped Sita. Ram and Lakshman were away. Ram dedicated practically the next part of his life searching for Sita. While Ravana was carrying Sita away, the great bird Jatayu, he happened to see them overhead. Jatayu was very old. He actually didn't have much strength. He heard Sita crying out. He was sleeping, actually. So I'm getting that experience. When you get older, you like to sleep more. But he was sleeping. You don't like it. You just it happens. And Jatayu heard Sita crying out his name. Please tell Ram the direction I've been taken. But Jatayu, he couldn't just sit there and allow this to happen. He immediately cried out to Ravana that if you want to take Sita away in this totally immoral, cowardly way, you must first fight me. So Ravana, who was young, who was strong, who had so many weapons, he came and attacked Jatayu, and Jatayu attacked Ravana. There was this incredible battle. And eventually, Ravana, with his sword, he cut off the wings of Jatayu, who fell to the ground in mortal pain. And Sita was crying to protect me, Jatayu has given his life. And Ravana grabbed her by the hair and took her away. As Ram was searching everywhere, he came to the river Godavari. Ultimately, he saw Ravana's broken chariot. And then he saw blood all around this bird who was laying there, a huge bird. And Ram called out, this evil monster has eaten Sita, and her blood is everywhere. On this very day I will send him to the abode of death. And Ram took his bow and his arrow. And Jatayu's laying there. And he said, I'm Jatayu. I tried to protect Sita. And when Ram heard that, he immediately put down his bow and his arrow. And Jatayu told him the whole story. And so beautiful. Ram put the head of Jatayu in his lap. As Jatayu was telling him all the details of where Sita was, the direction she was being taken, how he gave his life to protect her. Then he chanted the name of Ram and looked up in Ram's beautiful lotus face. And Ram told Jatayu, on this very day, I am giving you the supreme perfection of liberation in my abode. Ram passed away, Jatayu passed away in the arms and in the lap of Lord Ramchandra. So a story to meditate upon here. What is success? What does it mean to win? In the battle, Ravana won. He was victorious. Jatayu tried to protect Sita. Ravana successfully took her away. Jatayu tried to fight Ravana. Ravana killed him. So who won? This story is a very clear understanding what it means to be successful in this world. Jatayu was on the side of Dharma. Jatayu, he served with love. When Jatayu passed away in Ram's arms, Ram cried. And he said to Lakshman that hearing about my father's death was painful to me. Seeing that Sita was kidnapped was painful to me. But nothing is more painful to me than seeing a devotee like Jatayu who has given his life for my Sita. Ram was humbled. Ram's heart was conquered by the devotion of Jatayu. And he gave Jatayu the eternal success and victory of life by his surrender. He attained the perfection. And as far as Ravana, how many people celebrate Ravana today? Please raise your hands. How many people celebrate Jatayu? Jatayu won. It's not about the external appearance of winning and losing. It's about our purpose. It's about our motive. It's about our principles, our character, our values, and ultimately our love and our compassion. And eventually, Ram was directed through many different events while they traveled by foot about 1,000 miles looking for Sita. They came to Pampasrovar, and there they met Hanuman. And I'd like to begin the story here. But it's time for the Archie. But I'll go really fast forward for just a few minutes only. We know the story of Hanuman, of course. To serve Lord Ram to find Sita, he was willing to jump over an ocean. Rama entrusted Hanuman with a ring to give to Sita, so she would recognize him as her messenger. And all the Vanaras, the followers of Sugriva, they went in all the four directions looking for any sign of where Sita could be. And ultimately Sampati, the brother of Jatayu, told them, she is across the ocean in Ravana's kingdom in Lanka. It was 800 miles in those days. And in the Sundarakanda of Ramayana, it tells the incredible obstacles that Hanuman had to cross in order to reach Lanka. But there was just nothing that could stop his compassion for Sita and his loving service to Ram. And ultimately, when he discovered Sita, he secretly disguised himself when she was all alone and gave her the ring of Ram and gave her his message and assured her. He said, Sita, I will take you back right now. Just get on my back. Sita, she said that would... She, in her love for Ram, she wanted Ram to come to fulfill his mission. And then Ravana started tearing apart the structures in the beautiful Ashok garden where Sita was being held as prisoner. Radhana was daily threatening Sita to surrender to him. But she remained completely faithful and chaste in her love for Ram. But Hanuman, he was eventually fighting battles because he was causing so much disruption. And he was face to face with Ravana, tied up with ropes. And he told Ravana, that if you just give back Sita, and Ram will protect you. You're such a coward. You kidnapped her when he was away. Why didn't you fight with him? If you don't return Sita, you and your entire dynasty will be destroyed. Ravana was furious. Said, monkeys are very proud of their tails. Light his tail on fire. They soaked Hanuman's tail in all sorts of different wrappings and lit it on fire. And Hanuman very heroically, he burst from the ropes and he jumped building to building to building and touched his tail. And he set almost the entirety of Lanka on fire. And it is said that when Sita heard what was going on, she was praying to Agni, the fire god, that Hanuman will only feel a very cool, refreshing experience by the fire on his tail. And when Hanuman was burning the whole city, he felt his tail was so cool. And he knew this is Sita's blessing. And literally, armies were destroyed, generals were destroyed. Hanuman was fighting, he killed so many, and then he was burning the city. And he concluded by calling out in a very loud voice, Ravana, I'm just one single messenger among millions of messengers of Ram. If this is what I could do, what will Ram do? Give back Sita. And then he jumped in the ocean and put his tail out and then jumped back to cross the ocean. And the most beautiful part of the story is when he returned to Kishkinda Kshetra, where Ram and Lakshmana were living in a cave called Prashravana. It's still there today. Hanuman told the whole story to Ram and gave a jewel. And Sita told, was it a jewel? Huh? Gave a jewel, one of Sita's jewels to Ram. And shared a beautiful story. When Ram heard this, he cried with gratitude. He said, Hanuman, I'm living in the forest with no possessions in a cave. You have risked your life. You've endured so much just for my Sita and your love for me. I have nothing to repay you. The only thing I have is my very self. Ram embraced Hanuman. I have nothing to offer except myself, and he embraced. And Hanuman wanted nothing else. But this is such a beautiful principle. Krishna told the gopis when they gave up everything for him that even in an entire lifetime of Brahma, in all of the universal creation, I have nothing that can compare to your love for me. Krishna tells, I have no way to repay you. To gopis, he said, allow your own love to be your happiness. In other words, Krishna felt unable to repay the gopis, so he gave himself completely. And in this beautiful narration, Ram was feeling, I have no way to repay Hanuman. I give myself. And then they all go and they build a bridge across the ocean. But just one little more story. In Lanka, Ravana had two brothers. Kumbhakarna and Vibhishana. Vibhishana was a great devotee of the Lord. He was one of the chief ministers and advisors for Ravana. And when Ravana, he saw, or he had his spies tell him that Ram and Lakshman are coming for Sita, and they have an army of monkeys, powerful soldier monkeys, thousands and thousands. They're all assembled for battle. Ravana had a council with all his generals, like a war council. His generals, his ministers, his advisors. He asked, what should we do? And all the generals were saying, we should fight them and kill them. They're nothing. Ravana said, well, Hanuman is just one of them. And look what he's done. And Prahasta, one of the chief generals, he said, he caught us off guard. If we were prepared, we would kill him in a second. They were so proud. And one after another, they were saying, I alone could destroy Ram, Lakshman, and all of them. They're just ordinary humans and monkeys. We are Rakshasas. And as they were all speaking like this, Vibhishana stood up. He said, my brother, you're such a coward. First you distracted Ram to go someplace, and then you stole his wife. He's on the side. He is the supreme absolute truth. He's God. He represents Dharma. He's all powerful. On every level, you're wrong. You will be defeated. Not only will you be defeated, but your whole dynasty will be destroyed. All these people, all these generals of yours are ignorant. Generals were listening. Ravana was listening. He didn't like at all what he heard. He said, let me meditate on all of this, and tomorrow we'll have another meeting. The next morning, Vibhishana was so concerned about his brother. He actually loved his brother, despite all his flaws. He went to privately meet Ravana in his palace. And he was begging him, just return Sita. Ravana became very angry. Then they went back into the meeting, and Vibhishana spoke, and Indrajit, Ravana's eldest, actually Kumbhakarna, his brother, he stood up and spoke. He said, he was very blunt with his brother, because he had that power. He said, what you did was the actions of a coward. If you kidnapped a man's wife, you're holding her prisoner here, this is wrong. Why didn't you ask us whether you should do that first? Now after you have Ram and Lakshman and all these millions of monkeys coming to fight us, now you're asking us. Why didn't you ask us that first? You should return Sita. But if you're not going to do that, I'm your brother, I'm loyal to you, and I will destroy Ram and Lakshman and everyone. So he had wisdom, but he had the wrong loyalties. And Vibhishana, he had wisdom, and he was representing the truth. And he stood up again. And when Indrajit started chastising Vibhishana, you have no courage. You're just an ignorant coward. And Vibhishana chastised Indrajit. You do not know what you are saying. You're just a foolish boy. And Ravana, seeing Vibhishana chastise Indrajit for defending him, he became outraged. And he told his brother Vibhishana, if you were not my brother, I would kill you at this moment. From this point on, I disown you. And Vibhishana, seeing this, he with 4 of his ministers, he told Ravana that we are leaving. And I'm going to end with this little story. Vibhishana came to take shelter of Ram. He met Sugriva and the generals of Sugriva's army, and said, I have come to surrender to Ram. Please let me meet him. And Sugriva went to Ram and said, Vibhishana has come to meet you. Ram said, what should we do? Sugriva said, we should kill him. He's the brother of Ravana. He may be saying he may be disturbed with Ravana. He may have rejected Ravana because of a disagreement, but they have the same blood. They have the same parents. They're coming from the same race. We can't trust him. If we let him into our ranks, he could cause chaos, havoc. He's probably just a spy. Ram asked others, and they all basically said the same thing. We cannot trust him. We should either reject him, we should punish him, or we should kill him. Ram was listening. Then Hanuman was sitting silently. Ram said to Hanuman, what is your advice? Hanumanji said, my Lord, you know everything, and you know everyone's heart. What can I say? But because you're asking me, I saw his face. He's sincere. We should embrace him. We should love him and treat him just like a brother with full trust. When Sugriva heard that, he went wild with anger. And that is that historic moment that Ram proclaimed. If anyone, whoever they are, whatever they've done, if anyone even once sincerely says, my Lord, I am yours, I promise to give that person protection and free that person from all fear for all eternity. This is my vow. Even if Ravana were to come, Sharanagati, to take shelter, I would protect him forever. Bring Vibhishana now. And Vibhishana came, and then there was the whole war. But that is many chapters. But ultimately, Ravana was killed by Ram, and Sita was returned to Ram, and Vibhishana arranged the Pushpaka, the beautiful chariot that his brother had stole from their brother Kuvera. And it was a beautiful celestial chariot, and they got on it. And Ram told all the Sugriva and all the monkeys and Vibhishan that now all of you should. Actually, before that, Ram told Vibhishan to perform the last rites for his brother. Vibhishan said, "What? He was your enemy. I'm your devotee. How could I perform the last rites for the liberation of my brother?" And Ravana, even though he hated Ram had no malice. He told Vibhishan, he's your brother. Now he could do no more damage. You should forgive him, and you should perform the last rites for him. And similarly, in Chitrakoot, going back, Lord Ram completely forgave Kaikeyi for banishing him. And even though Bharata had rejected her, Ram told Bharata, you must forgive her and you must care for her for the rest of her life. And when they boarded the Pushpaka, the chariot, Sugriva and the others said, actually, we would like to come to Ayodhya to see you coronated. And Ram said, yes, everyone come. And then he just looked toward Vibhishan. He said, you come also. And they all boarded. And as the Pushpaka was in the air, Ram directed to go to all the places they went on their way. And he was telling Sita, you see, this is Sri Lanka, the battlefield. This is where Ravana's last rites were, and this is where I got Kumbhakarna, and this is where Hanuman got Prahasta, and you see the bridge that the monkeys built for me across the ocean. And they came to Kishkinda Kshetra. Says, this is Pampasrova, where I met Hanuman and I met Sugriva. And Sita very affectionately said, it will please my heart if all the wives of the monkey soldiers could come to our coronation also. So they landed the Pushpaka and all the wives got on. And they went to Nasik, and they went to Chitrakoot, and then they stopped at Bhardraj Muni's ashram to get his blessings to come back. And there Ram told he told Hanuman that you should go ahead and tell Bharata that I'm coming. Tell him that the 14 years has expired. Today's the last day. I'm coming back to Ayodhya. And examine his expression. If you see or feel even the slightest inclination in Bharata to want to continue ruling the kingdom, then you tell me. and I'll give it all to him. He said he may be such a pure devotee and a great devotee, but still, all the luxuries and all the power and all the popularity of being a king for 14 years, there may be some amount of attachment that has come. And if there's any attachment, then I want to honor him and let him continue. So Hanuman, he jumped to Nandigram. So it's a forest outside of Ayodhya. And there, actually, important part. Ram told Hanumanji, on your way to Ayodhya, stop to give all the news to Guha. It's been 14 years since they had met. Ask him to come and join us for the coronation. This person, from Ram's perspective, from a kingly perspective, is just an insignificant man living in the jungles. But for Ram, even after 14 years, he was remembering that one day of love and devotion and pure friendship that he shared with Guha. And he sent Hanuman there. Then Hanuman came to Nandigram, and he saw Bharata, matted hair, emaciated from just eating roots and herbs. Tree bark clothes. Hanuman was so moved. He offered his pranams to Bharata and said, Ram is coming today. He told him the whole story of what happened. Bharata was so happy. His heart was flooding with joy. And Hanuman was so happy to see his heart flooding with joy. He didn't even have the slightest trace of insecurity or envy or pride or anything. He was simply filled with love. And they were both crying on each other and they were embracing each other. And Bharata immediately told Satrughna that go back to Ayodhya and tell everyone Ram's coming today. Bring the queens. Bring all the citizens. And let us all welcome Ram at Nandigram. And we'll make a beautiful road and decorate the whole city and we'll welcome him home. Can you imagine the joy of Kausalya? Her son's coming home. And everyone, they all assembled in Nandigram. And Bharata was asking Hanuman, are you sure he's coming? Why isn't he here yet? Hanuman said that when they went to meet Bhardraj Muni for his blessings to come back, Ram asked Bhardraj for a blessing. Bhardraj said, what blessing can I give you? He said, put many, many wonderful fruits on the trees for all the monkeys that are with me. So that all the way back to Ayodhya they can have nice feast. So they may be late. He's coming, he's coming. And Bharat was so much anticipating. They were just looking into the sky from the direction of the south. And then Hanuman cried out, bursting with joy, there is Ram. And all the citizens of Ayodhya looked up and they saw the chariot of Ram coming down from the sky. And when Ram landed, Bharat ran to him and they embraced. Bharat was so eager. He brought the sandals. He said, you took care, through your sandals, you took care of this kingdom for the last 14 years. And the treasuries and the prosperity are 10 times more than when you left. And it is all your grace. And now I give it all back to you. And it's interesting because Vibhishana and Sugriva, seeing the shedding of tears of love in the selfless affection that was shared between Bharat and Ram, they started crying. Everybody was crying. And of course, Sugriva, his brother, Bali, they didn't have that relationship. And Vibhishana, his brother Ravana, they didn't have this relationship. So how rare and how beautiful it is when brothers can be together in this, on the level of such love and such selfless affection for one another. And after Bharat welcomed Ram and they shared such intimate brotherly love, the crowds of Ayodhya started gathering around Ram. And Ram left all of them because standing on the outskirts of this assembly was his mother, Kausalya. And Ram bowed at the feet of his mother, clasped her feet with tears of happiness. And his mother picked him up and embraced him. And then Ram took the dust from the feet of Sumitra, Lakshman's mother, and Kaikeyi, Bharat's mother. One of the great heroes of Ramayana that is kind of invisible is Sumitra. Sumitra and Urmila, the mother and the wife of Lakshman, they had to bear the same separation. But they were willing to do so in the service of Lord Ramchandra. So I will end this narration with this beautiful meeting of Lord Ram and his mother, Kausalya, after 14 years of separation. And how happy was Kausalya to once again, after all these years, to embrace Sita. And they had a wonderful, wonderful procession back into the kingdom of Ayodhya, where the coronation ceremony took place. Ramayana is 24,000 verses. So if I'm a little over time, please be understanding and forgive me. But on this special day, the values, the character of Ram and his devotees in their interactions. Ram and all of these great souls throughout the Ramayana are going through one crisis, one challenge, one tragedy after another. Why? Life is meant for happiness. Why is Ram exhibiting so many challenges? Because life is full of challenges. And the inner joy of the intimacy of the love that Ram expressed to all of us by giving us these beautiful stories. It's like a map. It's like a map through life itself, the beautiful Ramayana. And the life and teachings of Lord Ramchandra, essentially there's only one subject. The love and compassion of Ram for all living beings. The love and compassion of Sita for all living beings. And this reciprocal love that we have an opportunity to share. And all the beautiful, priceless lessons that help us navigate through life to understand, realize, and receive that love. So let us pray. Srila Prabhupada describes that when we chant Hare Rama, it's also Sita and Rama. Just today I was listening to a recording of Srila Prabhupada in Mumbai. In those days it was Bombay. And Srila Prabhupada in Bombay, he installed deities of Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And in Delhi there are, in Srila Prabhupada's temple, there's deities of Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. The capital of India is Delhi. And in the capital of the United Kingdom, London, there is Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And in the capital of the USA, Washington, D.C., there is Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. By Srila Prabhupada's influence, he installed Radha and Krishna plus Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman in all these capital cities. Because Ram Rajya. Because Ram and Sita and their associates are teaching us in all circumstances, in all relations, what are the highest ideals of character. And Srila Prabhupada, as their representative, is establishing those principles. In this age, we could connect with Sitaram, we can connect with Shri Radha Krishna by chanting this beautiful Maha Mantra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Murari Gupta, when he wanted to reciprocate with Murari Gupta's love, he manifested himself as Sitaram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. In fact, he said to Murari Gupta, in your previous life, you were Hanuman. Amen. Murari Gupta was an Ayurvedic doctor. He was an associate of Lord Chaitanya. And during Mahaprakash, when Lord Chaitanya was fulfilling everyone's desires, he said, Murari, look. And he was Raman, Sita, and Lakshman. And Murari was astounded. He was shocked. He looked and he said, don't you remember? You are Hanuman. And Murari looked down and he saw that he had a tail. So the oneness of God and the love of the devotees for the Supreme Lord and all of his beautiful, merciful forms and names, we should pray for this benediction. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, are blessing all of us on this very holy day. Thank you very much.